Good evening and good day to everyone. Namaste. This is Abhishek Chandra, and we are here on the fourth session to discuss Ms. Kamlesh Kapur's book, uh, Partition, Legacy of M.K. Gandhi. The first session we had was an introduction to the book, and second and third sessions were on the 20s and the 30s, and now we will be discussing the 40s. And so it will be important because we will be discussing the partition itself will be covered in today's session. So, ma'am, Kamlesh ma'am, over to you.
Namaste ji, I am still in the process of sharing the screen. So I wonder what's going on. Stop share. Okay. So sharing the screen, तो वो आना चाहिए ना, वो जो पहले आता था. ये तो कुछ और ही आ रहा है.
नहीं, आप कमलेश जी, आप अपना पावर पॉइंट पहले उसको डिस्प्ले कर लीजिए.
हाँ, तो पावर पॉइंट ही तो देख रही हूँ ना अभी कि कहाँ है. वो जब शेयर स्क्रीन करते हैं तो उसमें आ जाता है ना कि
नहीं पहले
कहाँ है.
आपने ऑन तो किया हुआ है ना?
कहिए. शेयर स्क्रीन
पावर पॉइंट ऑन होगा, राइट?
पावर पॉइंट हो सकता है ऑन ना हो. अच्छा, ठीक है. तो उसको मैं जरा एग्जिट्स फुल स्क्रीन. अच्छा, इसको थोड़ा मिनिमाइज करूं. हो गया, चलिए.
I hope ma'am's screen is visible to everyone.
Everything is fine. Namaste ji, everybody. And this is legacy of M.K. Gandhi. We are still in the 30s. Last time we did partially where the things were heading. And now we are just thinking in summary what exactly was going on as far as freedom struggle was concerned. Really, we were fighting for a freedom struggle, or was there something else going on? So this was a point, the decade, where the Muslims were moving in one direction in solidarity, and Congress party was moving in all different directions without knowing where they are going and what exactly is their focus. So without losing any time, opportunities lost in the 30s. And who was fighting for the freedom of India? Now, these are the two focus points in these subsequent slides. Gandhi was busy getting rid of the dissent. So the parties, a lot of stalwarts were leaving or forced to leave. And there was no trust towards freedom struggle. Gandhi's main focus was somehow or other, to maintain his own leadership. So he was not using any opportunity in administration or in towards freedom struggle, planning, strategy, and not any one of them. It was getting rid of Madan Mohan Malviya, Savarkar, who had just returned from 20 years, 25 years of imprisonment, and whole lot of these and Netaji Subhash Bose. Who can forget that? How he humiliated. Actually, in fact, he humiliated himself also. It was so disrespectful to behave the way he behaved that it is my personal defeat if Subhash has won. So that is the kind of person he was. And in the meantime, this tamasha, the show is going on, and the Muslims are gaining administrative experience. And not only that, they were secretly negotiating with the viceroy, how to plan the next, how to carve out India and what is for us, what is for them. I mean, this is the background for the coming events, of which Congress has no idea that how far the Muslims have advanced and how far the British government itself was moving towards concrete steps. They are going to do the partition, and for the rest of the Muslims, they will be making a provision that they are getting out of proportion representation in jobs and everything. And they had a concrete plan where each step was being followed very meticulously and in a very manipulative way. And Congress party had not a clue. At least I did not come across any evidence where the Congress party was trying to understand what is going on around them, not inside the party, but around them what's going on. So he kept shifting position. He wasn't sure whether he should be appeasing the Muslims and trying to be with them. So when according to the communal representation, the government gave them the opportunity for election and getting in power. They did get in power in many states. And then the opportunity was lost. How it was lost? When the war started, he did not know whether he should join or he should not. So the Congress party passed a resolution, neither agree nor disagree. What kind of position is that? That write us off? And actually that is what happened. The Congress government was written off, and Gandhi himself was completely out of focus as far as the future of India was concerned. There was no participation of any of these leaders in planning that. On the violence itself, it is non-violent, war is violent, war is always violent. Nobody is playing like, in Punjab, they say gulli danda, the children play. Nobody is doing that. People are fighting for their lives and laying down their lives. So it is violence to the extreme. And here he is not sure he is cooperating with the government or not. So these fault lines were actually fault lines indicate, to me, it seems that Gandhi's insecurity about his own stature in the party, that was the cause of this entire confusion in the party itself. So, there is a saying in Shakespeare, Fault, dear Brutus, lies not in our stars, but in ourselves. So this particular point is noticeable, that if we lost so much of territory and then ended up with so much of violence and civil war, then what exactly were we trying to aim at? And in the end, actually, K.M. Munshi pointed out once that Gandhi wanted, he didn't want a civil war and he did not want a partition, but he got both. So, and here lies the fault lines, which are very important to indicate, because this is going to be the pattern of the governments to come after the so-called independence. Now, issues of war and peace again. So dialogues with Viceroy. Luckily, now we have access to those telegrams and some of those notes which were exchanged between Jinnah and Lithgow, and Gandhi and Lithgow. So these dialogues reveal a lot. Jinnah promised that if there is a war going on, and war was going on, they were not sure if British will join. And pretty soon, within the next 2 months, it was declared. So the Viceroy asked the cooperation of every Indian, because this is for the preservation of the, at least they said, the democratic world. Actually, it was their survival and Western countries' survival. Colonies had nothing to do. It wasn't their war. They were not bound to fight. But anyway, that is aside the point. At that time, it was too early to take a stand. So Jinnah said, we will have the Muslims enlist in the army, and we will help you in any case, way you want, and on the condition. And that condition was between them two. So Gandhi was trying to be Messiah for everybody, and actually he was nobody's. Political issues versus personal belief. This is very important. You see, personal belief that I am an idealist and I don't want to antagonize, I don't believe in violence, I don't believe in this kind of morality or that. Politics of freedom and slavery, that does not hinge on your own moral campus, that today it points this way and tomorrow it points that way. So his experiments with truth shows, I don't understand when people say that he was truthful. He was not. He deceived at every step, even the Congress party and the rest of the country. His experiments were there with truth. At what cost? At the cost of the people, the masses who implicitly believed in him. So he pretended that he had a prescription for all the issues. So whereas he had neither self-control nor even the 5 basic things that Shri Krishna says individuals should have: control on their anger and lust and everything. None of those things he had. And talking points. That is where, he was very good at, speech after speech, writing after writing. So Harijan was one of his magazine. That itself has a very long-term consequence, the word Harijan. You see, when he started calling the untouchables Harijan, what does the rest of the country mean? That they are not created by the divine. They don't have the spark of divinity in them. What exactly Harijan means? And that tag is now being interpreted by the foreign anti-India forces as Gandhi elevated the downtrodden and oppressed and broken. So in anthropological analysis of Indian dharma, they even mention that they were broken. Okay, so this is how he gave the message, even by this name. In any case, that was by the side, but it is important. It had a very important impact later on. He voiced his views on all kind of issues, personal morality, his beliefs, this, that, trying hard to maintain his importance as a leader. What was the talking point for? To maintain that, hey, I'm still here. Whereas he himself was convinced that a point of diminishing returns has come and he has faded into irrelevance. And even if it is not within the Congress party, but for everybody else, all the participants on the negotiating table, he was the most irrelevant in the scheme of things to come. So he attempted to manipulate Indian culture. And now this is his everlasting contribution. Left Hindus with a high level of, now this is a psychological term, many of you probably are aware of this. As a teacher, we are supposed to understand personality disorders. One of them is dissociative identity disorder. So Hindus, and even at this time, they don't know, and then in confusion, they decided that we are neither Hindu nor anything, we are seculars. So all this part, manipulation of Gandhi, is Gandhi's misdeed. We may call it kartut, bad deed. Gandhi's unwillingness to understand the Muslim mindset. Now, this is important. The clouds of civil war are hanging, even if they were abated for because of the Second World War. Two-nation theory was accepted. It was not a surprise to anybody, only to Gandhi. So Gandhi became more obsessed with Muslim-Hindu unity, whereas this was not even relevant in the scheme of things. Gandhi was absolutely foolishly believing that somehow or other partition won't happen, though he knew partition is going to happen. Now this I wanted to do, the book is full of the quotations and reactions and the views of his contemporaries. One of them was Ambedkar, and it is very hard to give in half an hour 10 different persons' views, but Ambedkar's views is the most striking about him, and he understood what is going on. Very clear-headed, next to Subhash Chandra Bose, he was the most worthy leader of the country. He was a lawyer, not the armchair one with a tag on barrister of law. He was actually a lawyer. So thing that is noticeable, this is Ambedkar wrote, and you can all read it. Thing that is noticeable is the adoption by the Muslim gangster method in politics. The riots are a sufficient indicator that gangsterism has become a subtle part of their strategy. You see, subtle part of their strategy means that every time they have to force the government into anything, any position, they will behave like gangster. And this is not just a castigation on a religion, and this is their political history. Political history of tribal Arab, tribal Turkey, and tribal Middle East has been like that. Struggle for power and taking the enemy by surprise, and be gruesome and cruelty, and there's no such thing as personal or social morality in the scheme of things. So he says, when that becomes a subtle strategy, we have no option Violence is the option now. So long as the Muslims were the aggressor and the Hindus were passive, and in the conflict they suffered, obviously more than the Muslims. If you are always like this, whereas the Muslims are hanging a sword over your head and you are passive, naturally they are suffer. You will be killed, not suffer. So this is no longer true as far as Ambedkar is concerned. The Hindus have started to retaliate, and they no longer feel any compunction in knifing an enemy. So this was a shift where many Hindus thought that militancy is the only way to get freedom. This spirit of retaliation bids fair to produce the ugly spectrum of gangsterism against gangsterism. Now the Muslims are gangster and some of the Hindus are also in self-defense. They are adopting the gangsterist methods. So in which way Gandhian philosophy and stand is relevant? This is for everyone to understand, not in a short dialogue the way we are having today, but by reading the book, because in those 750 pages, there's a whole lot of details which are behind these subtitles and headings. So, baggage of 25 years. What did he bring for the country? Assumption of infallibility, that he alone is right. The stalwarts left. When hope and aspirations are not prioritized, people are led to a very dark abyss. In a dynamic world, there are challenges, hardships, and chaos. So what does a mother do? Her whole life is full of challenges, rewards, very unexpected surprises, good and bad. So what does she do? Both parents have, as parents, we have plan A, this might work, plan B, if that fails, plan C, plan D, and go on and on. There was no plan B, C, or anything. It was just his way or no way. So assumption that Mahatma knows what he is doing and that what he is doing is right is a very tall claim. I mean, no one should claim infallibility in every sphere, in morality, social relations, personal relations, marital relations, political nonsense. So he expected people's total obedience, although they were not decent and moral. They were led to believe that his personal interests were indeed the national interest. Whereas national interest was freedom, his interest was personal. So right away, there is a clash of where Gandhi stood on a pedestal and where the masses stood looking to him for guidance, for some kind of hope, optimism. None was coming. Some inspiration. Okay, nothing was coming because he could not identify, find the difference between personal interest and national interest. National interest was only freedom. Nothing else. Whose rights doesn't matter. If you are free, the rights and equality will follow. Other than that, nothing will follow. Okay. So then how do you solve a problem if you are the problem? Now that is where I would like to end today. How do you solve a problem if you are the problem? And that is a challenge. Even today, this is a challenge. If there are 10 different leaders in the entire country on the political level, not in other spheres, there are hundreds of them who are carrying the burden of leading India to new heights. But even at the political level, there are at least 100 of them who have different plans, A, B, C, D. and they are trying to solve it. But if they themselves are the problem, then who is going to be solving the problem? So that is a challenge for the new generation. In fact, subsequent generations, that to identify where is the problem, who is the problem, and remove it before thinking of anything else. Thank you very much. I hope some insight is gained in this entire monologue. And now it is your turn. Let us see. How do you feel about this? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, may I say something?
Yes. Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kapur. You gave a very enlightening talk, and yeah, thanks a lot for writing this book also. It was very much, necessary for the times that we should pass on the things to our next generations properly. Now, a few of the points which I feel most people have missed from the scholarly studies. One such important point is that Gandhi has failed in gaining the support of Muslims, trust of Muslims. Hello.
The question is
Gandhi, now, what I want to say, that Gandhi had failed in gaining the trust of the Muslims in what we can say in 1946 elections. Now the question here, it must be explored in a scholarly manner, that why Gandhi failed in gaining the support of Muslims despite of doing so many things for them. So that will give some very interesting conclusions. That's point number one.
Yeah.
Number two, madam, what I want to say, I am not directly dealing with your book. Your book is absolutely perfect. What I am saying about the further studies by scholars like you. The second point, what I want to say, that if was Nathuram Godse worse than Xavier Francis. How Xavier Francis, the colleges are named on the name of Xavier Francis, but why Nathuram Godse is criminalized, or any reference to Nathuram Godse is a taboo, whereas Nathuram Godse killed just one person. Xavier Francis created mass genocide.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
two questions I want. This,
can you please repeat the first question, one question at a time? That would be better. Your first question was?
My first question
why
was
so
why Muslims did not, why Gandhi failed? I should phrase it properly. Why Gandhi failed in getting the trust from Muslim community even after continuous 25 years of trying to make friendship with them? That is the first question.
Okay, let's go with the first question. Gandhi did not gain the confidence of the Muslims, even though he laid down his life as a jihadi. Till the end, he did not gain their confidence. For the simple reason, they were using him behind the scene, letting him do his own, foolish acts, drama, and they will take advantage. They did not need him. They had cowed him down long back in South Africa. So he was mortally afraid. Mortally means that his life, he was worried for his life. He said a word in favor of Hindus and against Muslims. So as far as he was concerned, this is where he is. He was groveling for their support. I wrote one line that he wanted to be Messiah for everybody. Muslims are included. And actually, he proved to be a Messiah. Not only he gave them, he kept them as well. So I hope this is the answer. Answer was again, he was a coward, and Muslims did not need him. Jinnah portrayed Congress party as a Hindu party. And nobody believed, because off and on he is talking about Gita, off and on he is quoting from here and there. And once he said, I am a Sanatani, whatever that means. So it was like, statements, contradictions from his side. And Muslims never said they liked or not liked. They simply said we cannot coexist with India, with Hindus. Time out. That is it. That is where Muslim stand was. So they wanted to gain as much as possible. You see, if you try to have the entire thing, you aim at entire thing. And if they give you half of it, accept it. And then aim for the next half. So this is exactly what was going on in the 20s and 30s, that they were asking for this much, and they got this much. In the 20s, 30s, they asked for more, 14 points, and Congress thought that let us agree to them, with them, and maybe this is the end. No, they produced another 6 points. So this is how they were gaining the mileage. Where is the time for them to consider about Gandhi? Gandhi was irrelevant. He thought that he is gaining the confidence of Muslims. He is their Bapu as well. And he said in so many words, after all, I am their Bapu as well. So that is what I'm saying, that he was irrelevant for Muslims. They were doing what they were doing in a very fine way, in a very calculated way. And what Gandhi thought was, he thought. And what Congress thought was, well, if he's dragging them in the muddy waters, who is thinking clearly? So now the second question.
Your first question, thank you very much, madam, for answering this. I totally agree with you. I just want that this particular question may be strategically, as a matter of strategy, this may be brought into public discourse by people like you, because this is a matter of strategy for future our this thing. I think you can understand the implication of having a TV debates on this particular question, because this will hit both ways. This is a fault line. This is a fault line between Gandhi and the Muslims. And impinge, hitting on this will actually that hurt on the both sides. So that is my strategic suggestion in this case.
Yeah.
That let there be books written, let there be research publications on this, and let this be a big public discourse on this.
Yeah, there should be. Plenty of shoulds are there.
And it has a vast possibility
and we lost 70 years.
Destroying our secular narrative.
Yeah.
This has a very strong possibility of destroying our secular narrative.
Yeah.
Right. Impacting on this point. Yeah. And the second question was.
No second question. Let us do this question first. That there should be dialogue about the administrative strategy, right? That is what the crux of the whole thing is, that strategy-oriented diplomacy. You see?
Yes.
A diplomat never reveals his cards.
Yes.
You see? And an administrator never says more than the person should in that capacity. Yes. And as an administrator, I was there for 10 years. I read Machiavelli, and later on I read Arthashastra. And they lay down very clearly that your personal morality has nothing to do what your Raj Dharma is. So Raj Dharma does not admit anything but strategy. How to protect your boundaries, where there is no strategy in India even today, except military, how to create, eradicate lawlessness, gangsterism. There is no solution, at least which is being talked about by Hindus or anybody. And you have to really recognize the enemy first. Who is the enemy? The enemy is the one who is double-faced. You see, look at these Ansaris and Qureshi. They were holding such the highest positions in the country, and yet they betrayed that we are afraid of Hindus. You see, as a vice president of India, are you afraid of Hindus? And as an election commissioner, you are afraid of Hindus. You see, this kind of double talk is diplomacy. However, this is also deceit beyond diplomacy. But however, the point is that we do not think in a diplomatic way. Certain things can be just, the answer is no answer. Right away, you need time to think about it. This is strategy. Be silent. Listen to the other party. Then ask for some time that, yes, I will consider. And consider. Take your time. Then you give a bit of information. Then you give a bit. You see, this is your strategy. We were taught that way, that silence is also one of the answers. And a smile is also one of the answers that acknowledges that the other party, we appreciate the other party's point of view. Not that we are finding solution. So these kind of discourses around Arthashastra are very important. And it should be not just part of administrative training, but training down the line. Why should politician be third-rate high school pass or not even that, ruling the country and deceiving the country? Shouldn't they be closer to their constituency? Shouldn't they be intelligent enough to lay down the strategy for winning? Strategy is not for accepting defeat. Strategy is always to win, establish power, maintain power. If you can't do that, you are no good. And we are at this point, as far as Indians are concerned, even as a community, we are not able to maintain power or create power. And I cannot write the book, by the way, even though I'm qualified. I'm too old to undertake any new initiative.
No, you can always communicate to the other scholars. You can guide them. You can give them an idea that, okay, this is the area. Why don't you focus on this? You can tell the research scholars that this is the area. You focus on this.
Yeah, that I can do. If there is a platform, forum, I can present that. Actually, I did it in 2006. Okay.
I'll just get a word in which if anybody has questions, you can always write in the chat window. I will communicate it. And Madam, request from my point of view, if you can put these things on YouTube, the administrative guide, and we can take it from there, read and promote it. So that will, I mean, you can work on it as per your convenience, and it will be very helpful for us. Anybody has any question for ma'am?
For that suggestion, by the way, for that suggestion, in 2006, I presented a paper, Chanakya in the current politics. And that paper was published. And if you want, you can contact the Waves organization under Dr. Balram Singh, and he will share that with you. And that lays down the entire strategy, the administrative part. You see, the whole thing is we produce reading material and nobody reads. Nobody has time to, So what's the point of writing research paper if nobody is giving you platform or chance to, or even read? You see, that's the thing. So whoever has any question.
Rajiv ji has said next session will be on November 27, same time. Okay. So we have 41 minutes from the start. I don't have any questions of my own today. Like last time, I had a number of questions. So if Rajiv ji, if it's okay, then can we close it today? Ma'am, if you could just brief us about next
sure.
session's agenda.
What is the next session about?
Yes.
Next session is the very turbulent years. The war is going on. It is full of tragic events. Noakhali will happen, Bengal famines, two-nation theory in writing, Quit India movement, and like that. But if we do have time today, let us talk about some more about the events. You see, for
Madam.
example,
Madam, here, can I
if
just
you want,
Yeah,
if you
madam.
want, I can continue. But if
Madam,
you
No,
want
I just want no, madam. I just want to suggest one point. I just want to suggest one point. As you said about the Bengal famine, no, I just want to say one thing. That in 1942 was the freedom movement, last freedom movement by Gandhi, and by 1943 was the Bengal famine. By his last freedom movement, Gandhi could not free even the rice grains from the Britishers within 1 year. So isn't it like preposterous to imagine that his effect continued in 1947? So probably we should focus strategically, again I am saying strategically, on the Bengal famine and failure of Congress and Gandhi to liberate even rice for the dying population. And they just focus that, okay, that is the conclusive failure, their conclusive failure in providing freedom for India. Because afterwards they didn't have any other movement, any other direct activities for freedom. So that is one of my further, just a small suggestion as we have some time. So I am just putting a small suggestion to the scholarly groups, and intellectuals like you and others, esteemed audience who are here. So just one thing for further discourse. Thank you.
Yeah, Bengal famine we'll discuss in detail in the next session. The issue is that the Congress party didn't know about the extent of that because nobody visited that place. Gandhi was having his own side shows and dramas and Quit India and War or No War, and then he was imprisoned and backdoor things happening. This is called shadow diplomacy. So that was going on. So we will talk about that. But in the meantime, as far as Gandhi was concerned, he endorsed the policy of Hitler. This is highlighted by Louis Fisher, who was a biographer of Gandhi, where he said that, do you think really that Hitler is right? And he says, absolutely. Jews should surrender non-violently. And this is, at the same time, he advised to Hitler that you are the greatest leader I admire, but you should also try, non-violent ways. I have had great success with that. The exact quotation, 3 lines or 4 lines, that is a laugh. That I had, I may say humbly that I had some success in trying non-violence. I don't know which success he was talking about in 1939. And so there are quite a few hilarious comments, and that is why he was dismissed by the world powers, and also, when Netaji went to Italy, and Italy said that Mussolini, he said that, we are not concerned with India's freedom. Because if such fools are leading the country towards freedom, they don't deserve any help from us. And besides, we are fighting for our existence. So they just packed him to Germany, Netaji. And Netaji was an astute visionary. And they simply had no belief in Indian capabilities, leadership, their competence, and even the clarity of their vision. And that part, I still say that India does not have clarity of vision. Not even what is in front of their 2 feet. And that applies to community. A community which cannot present a stand and endorse each other. It cannot be, cannot create a nation. So we became irrelevant. But next session will be, jam-packed with a lot of events and actions going on. And Jinnah, what was he getting out of it?
Madam Ji, I have a question. Is Gandhi a Muslim? First question. Second question is, why was he supporting so much to Nehru compared to Subhash Chandra Bose?
The first question, I understand that.
Is Gandhi a Muslim?
Oh, Gandhi was, he did not know himself. But his public face was, I am a Hindu, but I want to promote understanding of Quran and all that. So he did try to, do that kind of thing, go to a Muslim colony. And somebody said that in the Muslim colony, we cannot have a tiranga. And he asked them to, remove the tiranga. This is nonsense. And similarly, at one point, someone complained against the Muslim atrocities, and he chided them. Then bear with them, they are your younger brothers. You see, and this is, he was confused. Muslims were not buying any of his shenanigans, Hindus were. So to this day, I would say that his public face was pro-Muslim, but his real face, he was a crook. They don't have a conscience. And please do read one small book that says it all. There was a question about Godse. Godse was a real patriot. And his book, May It Please Your Honor, that was banned for 20 years. Later on, that was released. I have a copy, and it is free PDF available to read. So please do read. It is some 150 points that Godse laid down in his defense. And I think he more masterly way of detailing those events. He has done tremendous job, better than I could do in 700 pages. And he did it just in about summary way. So please do read. That is a short PDF, easy to read.
And one more.
If I may add one point regarding Gandhi being Muslim, he was a member of the Pranami sect, and they do take both Veda, Gita on one side and Quran on the other. Their priests and guru or whatever, and they read from it. So he grew up in a culture where both Hindu and Muslim tenets were present, and I think it was very easy for him to shift between two worlds without even knowing that they are two different worlds.
Yes.
Right. So that's also a in a way what Madam said, dissociative identity disorder of his own that he imposed upon others, because he was neither here nor there. right? He was
Right.
neither fully a Hindu nor fully a Muslim, and he was trying to please everyone, ending with no one. So, if you can, sir, you can read about the Pranami sect, and I think that should answer some of your queries or doubts about
Yeah,
Gandhi's Muslim
yeah,
identity.
yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah,
Somewhere,
one. Yeah, one. Mm.
yeah, thank you, sir. Somewhere I read that Gandhi is being a Muslim and promoted as a Hindu, changed his name, and the Mahatma was the title which was given by the Britishers, in which he has requested them to give the Mahatma as a title. But I do not know whether how far it's true or not.
This is not true at all. And the title was given by Hindus, some notable person, most likely it is Rabindranath Tagore. He gave the title. And this happened in 1915. And so, as far as Mahatmaship is concerned, the title was given by him. He was a Muslim or not, that is, I am not able to comment because he pretended all the time. But I can give you one short incident which I did not, I think, put in the book because that was his personal life. There was a session in Jagannath Puri, Congress session, and Kasturba said that please take me with you so that I can have darshan of Jagannath Puri. And Gandhi said no. This is a political matter and it has nothing to do with Puri being a holy place. She begged and begged and begged. Gandhi said no and went. Then Kasturba mentioned it to her son, Ramdas. And Ramdas said, Ma, what is the problem? I'll take you there. So he took Kasturba, his mother, to Jagannath Puri. They had darshan, visited the temples and vicinity, and came back before Gandhi came back. Gandhi came to know about it. And he entered and he slapped his wife. He says, I am creating an image in the public, in image of being Mahatma of the Muslims, and you have spoiled my image. So that incident I didn't want to mention. Somehow it was gruesome. I mean, abusing a woman, his own wife, it is, and it was not so. But since you brought it up, I'm explaining it, that it happened. So it was his, he wanted to pose winning Mahatma, I'm their Mahatma. It was just, two-bit swamis, womanizers, pretending to be sadhus. So he was one of them, you can say. But I have, strong opinions because the rest of the book, I have plenty of evidence that if he was not on the scene, we would have been united and independence would have come in 1929. So,
Achha, madam, one incident often circulated in WhatsApp is that
this incident I don't want to share.
Hello.
Because it brings other tangents to the, and the book was already too long. So I didn't want his personal life into it. But I did read this incident. And his own son said that Bapu is a curse for this nation. His own son said that. And I did not write it.
Okay. Achha, madam, just for information, you might not have mentioned in this book. I'm just asking, did any of the Gandhi's son convert into Islam, and did any Arya Samaji reconvert him back, and Gandhi wanted, like Kasturba or Gandhi requested some Arya Samaji to do the Shuddhikaran, and then some Anjasamaji went and did the Shuddhikaran. Is there some real story like this, or just WhatsApp?
There is a story. Actually, I did mention this one in the 20s, late 20s. Arya Samaj was doing Shuddhikaran. It was not a forced conversion or anything. Anybody in Kashmir or Punjab who wanted to come back to Hindu Dharma, they were doing Shuddhikaran. And that is why the Muslims killed him. And Gandhi hugged the killer. My brother was very upset with the Hindus who are trying to be unsensible and insensitive to the Muslim feelings. And we are still dying to respect their sensibilities and sensitivities. So, and that part is correct. And the second part, that his son became a Muslim, yes, he did become, one of his sons became a Muslim. That was just to annoy him, that you talk so much about the Muslims this and Muslim that. And Gandhi never talked to him again. How dare you become a Muslim? So you see.
What was the name of the son?
Which book?
No, what was the name of that son?
You see, there are a lot of research papers I read. Some of the books I have given in the bibliography, but I did not mention it in my book about his son becoming. Since you raised the question, I am telling, because I did not want to bring his personal life.
Right.
So it is quite colorful.
We have 2 minutes now. We can have a short question. We can have a short question. After that, we will close. Sir, you can ask your question if you have.
Okay, then just I'm sharing some of my experience. On 30th January, for last a few years, I usually respect Gandhi, and then again I say that, however, the way he reacted after for the killer of Swami Shraddhanand to Abdul Rashid, the way he defended Abdul Rashid, hence I too am unable to condemn Godse, because Gandhi also had defended Abdul Rashid, the killer of Shraddhanand. So that's how, when I put this message, then usually after that, all discussion on Gandhi murder and everything evaporates from any group. So I'm just sharing my experience. That's how I have been countering certain narratives. Just experience sharing.
The day he was killed, I was in Delhi. My little brother and my parents, we had run away from a border area, and on 30th January we were in Delhi. And I remember somebody commented that, hey, Bapu has died. And another almost illiterate lady, she said, whose Bapu died? Let the people mourn, Muslims mourn. He was their Bapu, not mine. Because this whole neighborhood was displaced people from Lahore and Sialkot. So you can understand the feelings at that time. I remember that day.
Madam Ji, I have a last question from my side. When the India-Pakistan has divided, the Pakistan is for Muslims and India is for Hindus. So part of the Muslims stayed back in India. And is it something like a Jinnah had planned to make India as a Pakistan or something like that? So how is the Bapu is responsible for the Pakistan Muslims who are staying in India? How is it implicated?
That answer requires should wait for the next session, because a whole lot of 6 years developments and backdoor drama and what was visible to the public went on in those 6 years. And the negotiation that was going on between the Viceroy Jinnah and Nehru, in that it was, they followed the model. Negotiation should be along what is already accepted in the Act of India Government Act of 1935. So since we are going to do that in the context of all the negotiations before that, we will go over this part, that why the Muslims stayed back.
Okay.
More
So
question,
we have completed 1 hour, sir, everyone. Satyendraji, if you could, Rajivji, can we take one last question?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, one last question. After that, we will close, and you can come back in the next session and ask your question if it is related with the next session, right? So, Satyendraji, if you want to ask your question.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
This is regarding the partition. When the partition happened, there were many Hindu majority districts which became part of Pakistan and Bangladesh, that part of old Pakistan. So at that point of time, was there not any discussions or oppositions to those districts being merged, being taken to Pakistan? Is there no leaders, Indian leaders, who opposed this at that point of time?
No. Gandhi himself said that Jinnah had promised he will take care of Hindus and Sikhs in Pakistan. So those Hindus who came and stayed in Hardwar, there are a lot of inns there, philanthropic Sarah and like that, taverns. And Hindus did come, and he sent them back. He says, nothing will happen to you there, because Brother Jinnah has promised me. And Brother Jinnah had real good sense of truthfulness. So that is how Hindus stayed there. In fact, my own grandfather's brother stayed there till the military evacuated them, that you are not safe. Even if you are chairman of the Railway Service Commission for the state, you are not safe here. So the whole family left. So in the dire circumstances, you see, full of false narratives and hopes. Nothing will happen to you, nothing will happen to you, as if he is there to see that we have dwindled down from 35% in Bangladesh to merely 13%. And they are living like, one day at a time in fear. So again, as his son said, he was a curse to the nation.
Okay, thank you, everyone. That was the last question. We have completed an hour. So, ma'am has already talked about the agenda for the next session, which is on 27th November, 8 p.m. India time, and for US you have different times, 6:30 a.m. PST, California, etc.
9:30
Yeah.
my time.
Okay,
Eastern time
Can
is
we
9:30.
delay by 1 hour, please? Because Sunday morning, this is a little hard to wake up at 6:30 a.m. for a meeting. Is it possible to delay time by 1 hour?
This is a call for Rajiv ji, not mine. And
No,
Previous meeting was at
that's fine.
7:30.
Yeah, I know the time has changed. So if Kamlesh ji is okay with and you, Abhishek, because you also have, it will be 9 p.m. your time too. So
yeah, we can have a half an hour delay from my side, or 1 hour, whatever.
I think that's a good compromise. Yeah, that'll be
Half an
great.
hour we can do, ma'am.
Thank you.
Everything is fine with me. I think this is something off the records. Whatever you decide, you circulate it.
Okay.
You see, if it is half an hour delay, whatever, it is between the organizers because a lot of countries are involved, people from different countries are viewing it. So it will be a whole lot of shuffling of their timetable schedules. So therefore,
Yeah,
think
we'll work
about
that out.
it, to me, it doesn't matter. So off the chart.
Okay. So we can close the session now. Thank you everyone for participation. Thank you, ma'am, for your
Thank you very
guidance
much.
and knowledge as every day, every session. So we'll close it now, Rajiv ji.